Now, speaking of Nancy Pelosi, the president today went after her for the comment she made 3 weeks ago. Here's a trip down fading memory lane.
In terms of the bonus that corporate America received versus the crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic.
You're letting me crumbs. Take it away, El Presidente.
That was a bad, that could be like deplorable. Does that make sense? Deplorable and crumbs? Those two words, they seem to have a resemblance. I hope it has the same meaning. But she called it crumbs when people are getting $2,000 and $3,000 and $1,000. That's not crumbs, it's a lot of money.
Isn't that crazy? They're both super rich, but he sounds like he's more in touch. The world is upside down. So could crumbs become the new deplorables? Is he right? Let me check in with my freshly baked party panel tonight from the Greg Gutfeld Show, where she serves as correspondent. Katherine Timpf is here, along with media reporter at The Hill, Joe Concha, and the host of the one and only Tom Shillue Show on Fox News Radio. Tom Shillue is here. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
So much to talk about and discuss. Let's start with this issue because Democrats have been struggling ever since November, really trying to find a message. And I think they found over 2017 that resistance wasn't working. They're hoping to get traction with taxes. But like Brian said, that is just falling flat. And then Nancy Pelosi comes out and talks about crumbs as she's starting a bakery.
Exactly. I think obviously it's not going to be a winning message if they just are anti-taxes and then people start seeing the benefits. What I'm starting to see is they want to tweak the bill. So their hope is to win some seats. Tell me if I'm right on this.
Yeah.
They want to win a few seats, enough so they can get a majority. Then they're going to change one portion of the bill, maybe one, tweak it here and there. And then they will start to say, look what we did now. And then they'll try to take credit for all the benefits of the tax plan. Make sense?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care who gets the credit. I do want people to do well. But this doesn't seem to be a plan rooted in cohesion or decency.
What's very important in hockey? Momentum.
That's
What's
right.
very important in anything in politics? Momentum.
As George H.W. Bush called it, the mighty mo, Joe.
The mighty mo. Thank you. I'm going to go with that. Monmouth has a poll that came out yesterday. 44% of people approve of the tax plan now. You say, well, that's not all that great. The problem is that in December, that was 26%.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's gone in that direction, 18, because the messaging is out more. People see the bonuses. People see it in their paychecks. And the problem is now you see at the State of the Union, you see one side of the chamber is la resistance, and we're going to protest with no message, and another side saying we're going to give you lower wages, we're going to give you, higher wages, lower taxes, ISIS caliphate destroyed. One side has a message, one side doesn't. Sounds a lot like the 2016 election.
Yeah, and some of it may not be the taxes necessarily, and we won't see the effect of that for the next few months and the coming year or two. However, the perception that corporations are now happy that they're paying less money and a lot of the big corporations are giving people bonuses, that's what's adding to the boost. How do you see it, Kat?
Right. We're going to take away the more money of your own money that you were given is not really the best thing to run on. So I'm not really sure why I'm not sure why they're going with that. And then when you see Nancy Pelosi making these kind of comments, just politics is one of those things where it doesn't seem to be true. The longer you do it, the better you get at it. More things are like that.
Golf is like that.
Golf's like that. Hockey's like that. Being a person sometimes like that, not always.
No, but old people tend to be nicer than teenagers.
Well, there's always room for new mistakes. But $1,000 is a lot of money. Even in New York, where prices are very high, that's at least 100 beers.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. So I was talking with Paul, who's one of our producers, and he said he's getting about $30 a week. That's some nice beer money there for my friend Paul.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's
already hammered. It's only February 1st.
He's drunk right now.
Yeah. That gets you one drink at Del Frisco's, but he's not going to Del Frisco's.
That's true.
That's a local joke.
That's an inside joke.
And that is such a Pelosian joke, too. Oh, those little people with their watered-down beer. While Republican and Democratic lawmakers are still bickering over tax reform, Congress is now staring down what will likely be another short-term spending bill, the fifth one since September. They have to pass something by a week from today, February 8th, next Thursday. Republicans are on their annual retreat right now. Look, Paul Ryan's in a vest. That must be relaxing. But intra-party fighting within the GOP is reaching fever pitch. Members of the Freedom Caucus demanding stricter immigration reform from the Speaker, and conservative defense hawks harping about the damage these stopgap measures will do to the military. Meanwhile, Democrats are still searching for that deal on DACA, which has to be passed by March 5th. In other words, It's going to be a messy week in Washington. How will this all shake out? So Republicans, by and large, got it right on taxes, but they have totally screwed up with these continuing resolutions, stopgap measures, and band-aids. And now they have mutiny within the party. The Freedom Caucus is powerful enough to tank anything.
Yes, and so they're going to keep fighting, I think, and Democrats will keep fighting as well. I don't see what the big problem is, though. I don't mind the stopgaps. I think they don't want to work, right? It's a lot of work having to go in and vote on these things and fight over it. But I don't mind. And maybe it's because I'm in the media business and I like, having something to talk about.
Yeah.
But who cares? Who cares if our elected representatives have to fight every 6 weeks? I think it's fine. Well,
they say it's more expensive, it's inefficient, and programs that really need to be refined and funded, and the actual legislating that has to be done, they can't do that when they're just going from CR to CR.
Okay, I changed my mind.
I'm just so happy that we're going to get countdown clocks back again.
Yes.
To the Armageddon.
Yes.
Before the last one, we were literally told by, I think it was Feinstein in California, that people will die as a result of the government shutdown. I checked the death toll, 0.
Yeah.
So at least we're going to have that.
Nancy Pelosi actually used that's true. There's not a correlation, but they did, in fact, perish. God rest their souls, all of them too soon. But, here you go. You have people like Dianne Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi using words like Armageddon to describe, not only a government shutdown, but also the tax deal.
The tax bill as well, right?
Hyperbole.
We're a boy who cried wolf, or old ladies crying wolf at this point, and no one's listening because these things tend to not come true, and after a while the public just shuts it off. Just like the government shutdown, no one's going to panic over that because they figure they're going to make it.
No, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we have another shutdown. John Stossel made such a great point, and I would love you to add to this. A shutdown is good in that you see how unnecessary most government is.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't notice the last time it shut down, and I don't think I'll notice if it happens again this time. It doesn't really matter. I miss the good old days when Republicans, the reason there'd be a shutdown would be, spending issues, or the reason there'd be a threat of a shutdown would be spending issues. And now the only spending issue is we're not spending enough on the military, some of them say. Yeah. When I say we're already spending way too much on the military, way more than the combination of the countries who even would be in the number 2, number 3, all the way down to 7 to 9, depending on the numbers. Yeah. There's no fiscally conservative party anymore.
That is absolutely true. There are no cost cutters, and that's why a lot of the Freedom Caucus members, even though they are defense hawks, they're lonely voices when it comes to cost cutting. If only they would find logic like my dear panel has, and they'll return a little bit later. First up, however, get ready for a fight. I'm going to take on Ambassador John Bolton on the president's executive order to keep Guantanamo Bay open indefinitely. The ambassador joins me next. All right, are you ready for a story about government overreach? Listen to this. A bill being pushed in New Mexico will require all high school students to apply to college. No gap year. The only way out is if you enroll in a vocational school or the military. Supporters of the bill say it is designed to boost the state's declining college enrollment, which is down 14% since 2010. But is forcing kids to apply for college the way to solve anything? Party panelists back, Katherine Timpf and Concha and Tom Shillue. Kat, I have a feeling I know where you stand on this. I think it's a ridiculous idea because I don't think your state government should be forcing you into major life decisions.
Yeah, is this even legal? How are they even allowed to do this? This is the dumbest idea ever. You live in a society now where you could become very, very rich being a very dumb, uneducated YouTube celebrity.
That's true.
And you should be allowed to do that. This should just say, hey, you're being forced to apply for life-saddling amounts of debt by your state government. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. A lot of times, the debt that you incur by going to college can actually prevent you from doing the kinds of things that you would be able to do otherwise. I got into grad school at Columbia, did not go because I would have had to take out a loan. I wouldn't have been able to take entry-level journalism jobs because I would have had to pay that back. That would have hindered me. So no, this is boo, boo, boo.
I agree, and it's not that college is bad, but if numbers are declining, then colleges have to take a look at that. And being propped up unnaturally by state coercion doesn't do anything to fix the systems which are not attractive in the first place. Maybe they need to look at financing and majors and cutting administration to make college more affordable for people. But forcing them into places they don't want to go, it seems like indentured servitude.
You hit that nail on the head with the affordable part. I've been out of college since the mid-90s, but I can tell you that it now is, because my nephews are in it, to go to University of Delaware State School, $50,000 a year. So my brother is now dropping. My brother runs, ironically, a vocational school.
Yeah.
Probably about $250,000 just to send one of his kids to school. He's got 2. So now we're talking $500,000. That's why it's going down. So you can't force people into a situation, to your point, where they're going to be in debt then for 10 or 20 years. And I have an app on my phone, because my kids are 4 and 2, where you can look what a college is probably going to cost. And if my daughter goes to Georgetown, like my wife did, it's going to cost me alone $500,000 just to send her.
Wow.
And no more drinks at Del Frisco's for me.
No, not at all. You're going to be drinking North Korean dirt here.
Or at least Pabst.
I mean, you've got 2 girls. You guys are looking at this and saving money. College isn't for everyone. I mean, that's the other thing, and it's sort of a shock for people.
She's met my daughters.
Well, no. I mean, your daughters are brilliant and wonderful, and I'm sure they'll go to great schools and have flourishing, wonderful lives. However, for some people, college is not the answer.
And guess who didn't go to college right after high school? Tom Shillue.
That's right.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I wanted to apply to school. So because there was no pressure on me, I just didn't. And I went and I worked. I got a job. I saw what the working life was like, and then I applied myself to college. So I thought that year off was great.
Yeah.
So I say to anyone whose children have no guidance, let them go for a while. They'll figure it out. Also, you know who I think should be against this? College administrative, admissions officials. Why do they want to go through a bunch of applications from people who don't want to go to college?
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Well, and if you're going to force people to apply, at some point, you will be forced to pay.
Yes.
And I'm sure the residents of New Mexico are not thrilled about the idea of subsidizing college careers for people who are going to get C's and D's and not really give a crap about it in the first place.
There you go.
I want to thank this glorious party panel, Tom Shillue, Joe Concha, and Kat Timpf.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Coming up, the Secretary of Homeland Security says the Super Bowl can be a soft target for hard terrorists. So what are the feds doing to keep the fans safe? Are you heading to Minneapolis? Mike Baker is, maybe. He joins me next.